Good day everyone, and welcome to On the Bench, Sports Fishing on the Fly here with another saltwater fly pattern. This is my little Coho Candy. It's a nice little fly I tie with some new materials and a little different techniques, and I'd like to show you this one. To tie this fly I'm going to use some 3411 size 4 Mustad stainless steel hooks. Going to use for the body some blended dubbing here. This is under fur from Arctic Fox. When I was building some other, I saved more under fur and I just blended it in with some holographic silver ice dub and made myself some nice dubbing. The rib, I'm going to use some Danville's Mylar size 12, and for the under wing I'm going to use some Opal Polar Flash. Over that I'm going to use some 3 colors from my wing. I'm going to use some green, pink, and dark blue super hair. This is the Best Way unique hair. Super hair, I believe they call it in some packages. And the eyes, I'm going to use some tape eyes. These are the size medium tape eyes. Also finish it, we're going to use some Solarez. I'm going to use a dubbing brush. I'm going to use that on green wire, some soft wire. So let's get a hook and a vise and tie you up Coho Candy. Fly fishing coho is a lot of fun. If you haven't done it, you got to try it. If you have done it, it's quite an addiction itself. They're great fish on a fly rod. Dress my shank with the thread so everything kind of holds on there a little better. Grab a little piece of my Mylar. Come in here, I'm going to tie it gold side up. And then when I turn it, it'll come in silver. Grab some of my green wire. Got a piece about 12 inches long. You have a dubbing brush. You can use a dubbing table. You can use a dubbing loop, dubbing whirl. I'm going to use my Norvise, my rotary vise to do this. I'll bring in my dubbing table at this point. Get some of my materials out of the way here. Okay. I'll just come in here with the dubbing table. That way I can just lay my hair in crosswise across the thread. And then I pull my wire over the top. See, dubbing loop works fine for this too. And I'll get it started here. Take my dubbing table out of the way. My rib, put it back in my keeper. Okay, there we go. Now it's starting to tighten up nicely. On the back, I can take a brush and pull it out a little bit here now. That's always a good idea to loosen up them fibers. And then as we come in here, it'll start just rolling forward. It's pretty bulky right at this point. Maybe I want to come a little bit. There we go. I can get a little more to the front. A little bit weak. Tie it off. Make sure we get tied off well in there. Put a half hitch on. And I'm just going to get some wide turns on my ribbing with my Mylar all the way up, and comes in silver. It's a very nice coho color right now. I like this body when it's in the water. I get a lot of translucency when I do it. These brushes like this, I'm going to pluck that out. This is very solid. You can't beat this one up. pull all the fibers I can out. Take your time. You see I'm getting a nice tapered body there. Some of that silver showing through. Bring my brush in again and I can brush it back. And this in the water looks really good. Get the feeling there, you see what's going to happen now when it gets wet. That looks great. Okay, so now I need my Mirage Opal. Take about half as much I need because I can just fold it back over itself. This looks really good in the water. I use this Mirage Opal lots. A little greenish tinge to it. Picks up all kinds of nice baitfish colors in the water. It really looks great. Okay. Now we want to stack our wings. So here what I'm going to do now is come in with my green underbody. You can dress this a little heavy, a little thinner. You can lean on the green a little bit more sometimes, a little more blue sometimes. It's good to, that's a nice thing about tying your own. You can kind of give it some variations for your fly box because some days it might be brighter conditions or overcast or whatever. So I tied that super hair well on the top. Now I'm going to come in behind and just lay it in there like so. And that'll kind of separate my colors. I don't chop it off blunt, I just kind of tease it back. Okay, now I want a lateral line of pink. Coho like that pink in there. There, and then I'm going to come in underneath that again. You see how that's one to stay separate? That's good. And now I will get my dark blue for the top. And this super hair is really, really tough. I like it. You don't want too much on here at once. Try to taper that head a little bit because it'll get too chunky on you. There it goes. Now I can see if I've got a little bit coming out. That's okay. I'm going to add more. I just taper that when I cut. I just slip a little bit. I want a little bit more on there anyway. A little bit weak. So I can put just a little bit more on top. Main thing with super hair is don't tie in a big clump because it won't hold. Very slippery product and it won't hold. Okay. Everything where I want it. That looks pretty good. Tapered wing, that looks all right. You can shorten that up a little bit if you like, but I think if I was throwing that in the salt by kelp beds or whatever, that'd be just about right. Sometimes we want about half that big too. So size really does matter as well. Okay, I'll come in here and get one that wants to stick out. I'm going to whip finish this off. One here, he just don't want to behave. I'm going to cut him out of the way. Okay, now I'll bring in some Solar Res. That looks good. And we'll just give that a little coat right there. Let it run into the hair a little bit. That's good. That's bone dry, so it's pretty thin. Get my lamp. And we could put our lamp on there to cure that Solar Res, of course. You can use other cement on there if you wish. Get that nice and dry. It dries quickly. I should find myself some. There's my needle right there, bodkin. Grab me one of my tape. I just use tape eyes here because they're not so bulky. Put one on each side. They're not going to stick all that well. We're going to just basically place them where I want them. I'll try to. I think I got a hair kind of sticking in my road there, kind of not wanting to lay down properly. There it is. A little straggler there kind of getting in my road. I'll just put a little dab down the top there, and once I hit that with a light, they're not going nowhere. And then I'll just kind of start building my body, or my head up with solar res. Just keep adding. This is thinner. If you use thicker, then you don't need go as many steps. You can probably get it with 1 or 2 shots and you're good, but I'm just going to keep working on this little thinner product. The thinner is actually good too because it runs into the hair nicer. And that's worth taking a little time because it will not fail you out there for sure. There we go. There. And my switch is going on my light. So there we go. We got there, that'll finish the head off, make it bulletproof, as they say. It's my little cutthroat, or coho candy. And stacked wing, nice underbody. This really looks good in the water, this body, the way I've done the dubbing on there. So there's one that you want to, coho fishermen want to try. It's got a nice stacked body. It's got everything I want in a fly. So hope to see you next time on Sport Fishing on the Fly. We'll bring you another interesting pattern. So thanks for watching.
To watch all our latest Sport Fishing on the Fly episodes and to order Sport Fishing on the Fly merchandise, head to www.sfotf.ca. And if you would like to book an adventure like this one showing, head to ontheflyadventures.ca and book yourself the trip of a lifetime.